welcome to a little segment I like to call Bumps and Bends. Hey guys, welcome to second episode of Bumps and Bends. This week we're looking at Brands Hatch Indy circuit. The Formula Sprint calendar, which I'm focusing on this season, 2020 season 1, is a fixed setup with a new tyre model, new damage model, and I'm really enjoying this circuit. It's really short and there's not a lot of corners. So let's have a look. I've done a 41.3 with an optimal of a 41.1. And if I've just had a look at the results so far this week, this is the second day of the week. 27.58 strength of field. The fastest guy got a 41.0, but qualified with a 41.3. So we're not too far off the pace. Let's have a look at the track and have a look at the way this car handles the track. So this is my fastest lap. Coming down the straight, I'm looking at just minimizing the circumference of the track, staying on the inside, and then working towards the outside. So I want to go as far left as possible, and you'll see that little dip, and then the rise will actually force a bit of understeer in the car. What you need to aim for is this curb, but try not to touch it. And what you're trying to do is I'm off all of the pedals. I'm just trying to maintain as much speed as possible without touching that, and just find that point at the apex where you can get on the full throttle. And the nature of this fixed setup is quite understeery, so you just want to understeer to the exit and get on that throttle. This part of the track you can use, and it's not that bumpy, so you can straight line it. At turn 2, you'll see in most cases, whether pending, there'll be a line for the shadow of the bridge. Use that as a braking marker. If that's not there, brake maybe a little bit after the 50 marker. And you want to go as wide as possible and open the corner up. You need to time your downshifts in accordance with your brake and modulate your brake, and you actually need to trail brake this corner. So it's actually quite a long hairpin, and you want to get the car rotated. And it's not so much about how close you can get to the apex, it's about how quick you can get on the throttle. And you just want to time the understeer so you go as wide as possible while keeping momentum and minimizing wheel spin. And then we start to focus on the right side of the track. This is quite a tricky little corner because you're looking here at the next apex, but you want to be as wide as you can here. If you touch the grass, it unsettles the car, and as you're doing your initial turn in, this wheel touching the grass will make the next section of the track unstable. And what you're focusing on for this corner is just trying to skim the apex and get on that throttle as early as possible. So it's about, well, I'm quite far way over. It's about getting on the throttle as early as possible. As far as track limits go, you can pretty much go off the circuit here. So just using the throttle to rotate the car on exit, and you can use all of that patch. It's not necessarily concrete. The exit of turn 1, that green strip, is concrete, but it looks like a metal mesh with grass growing through it and a concrete pebbles, I suppose, or cobblestones you could call it, with grass growing through it. When you first jump onto this circuit, it feels slippery, but you're actually straight line in the corner. You're not having much lateral force, so you can actually use all of that without getting an X. You want to try and exit this section as close as you can to the end of this strip. And that way you're opening the corner up as much as possible and maximizing your speed. In doing that, you're bringing the car over to the left. Try and minimize that. You'll end up over here, and you need to be over here for the next corner. So you're actually lengthening the circuit. So if you can minimize your steering, you can focus then on the last section, which is actually quite difficult. You want to aim for this ripple strip. It actually raises as it goes closer to the grass, but you find as the car's understeering the way it is, you can actually ride this curb as much as possible, but your goal is to straight line this curb, and you're aiming to go as far to this curb as possible. Now, you're traveling relatively fast here. Right now we're going 200 kilometers an hour, and we need to stop and turn. So that curb unsettles the car a little bit right at the braking point. I've found it's much better to brake a little bit earlier, as the car seriously understeers over this crest. And what you're actually aiming for is to get as close to this ripple strip as possible, and it's really hard because it's massively understeery, and you just want to get on that throttle as early as possible, time the understeer so that you don't touch the grass here, and then start focusing on the inside of the track to shorten the circuit. If you're going out here, you're lengthening the circuit, and you lose time. So that is a 41.319. Let's have a look at the bumps. This whole section where it goes down and up is, I would consider, a bump, where it actually raises the car and induces understeer. So consider that a bump, but most of the bumps themselves are the ripple strip. There's not any major inherent bumps within the asphalt. And so it will really throw the car out. I'm actually going to go one lap back because that following lap was a crash. So yeah, it goes up. That's a big bump. There's a bump here. Try not to touch that. It'll massively unsettle the car and throw you in the sandpit. Nice and smooth there. There's no bump there. This little rise here will help turn the rear end. This ripple strip, nice and smooth. This ripple strip, nice and smooth. You'll notice that there's a bump here on the apex where the car gets unsettled there. The downforce will overcome that if you hit it right. And here. So it actually ramps up, and there was quite a few laps I was able to straight line it. I'm quite offline here. I think I could have really got the delta down if the car was probably 3/4 of a car length to the left. Straight line it there. And there is a tiny bump in the middle of that ripple strip here, but you can overcome that with the downforce. Your focus is on car balance here. And I think this is the hardest bump as the track rises and wants to throw the car to the left. And that's how it's done. What I'll show you in the following lap is how you can abuse the track. And this is where I was starting to get a bit cocky. The one, I oversteer there, too much throttle, spun around, and welcome to the new damaged model. Let's have a look in the cockpit to finish things off. This is how I did it. Okay, this is how I did it. 5th gear here. Going as far wide as possible. Cut. Get on that throttle. Braking early. Focus on the apex. And then minimize the length. Well, I hope that helped, guys. Good fun learning this track. It is a really good track to learn. Well, if you like this or you've got any other suggestions for this segment, let me know in the comments. But otherwise, give us a thumbs up if you liked it. Down if you didn't. Make sure you subscribe and come check me out on Twitch. And I'll see you next time. Bye.